show all steps. In fact, if the province ever says show work, or if they say calculate, in fact, you're not going to get full marks from now on if they say show work or calculate and you don't show any work, it's just the final number. You could still get, like if it's a 2-mark question, you'll still get 1 out of 2 if it's correct. But if you want full, you got to show work of some sort, right? So be aware of that. So finding angle B, we want this angle, and we realize that this is side, 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 right? So you realize that cosine law needs to be used. And in particular, you're going to use this one, right? That starts with cosine of the angle you're interested in. You're going to make this long line. You're going to make sure that the side that's opposite to B is right here, squared. And then you take the other 2. After that, it's all about the other 2 sides. Right? This one here doesn't show up again. So 2 times 7.2 times 9.6. So look at this. If you picked cosine, normally you get 1 mark already. Like just for you using cosine law, you get a mark. So I'll put a little 1 under. You substituting in the right numbers gets you another mark. So if you don't have the numbers where they belong, like especially this one back here, if you use, let's say 7.2 back here, I would go -1 right away. So you get a mark for cosine law, 1 mark for substituting. Then you do the top. The top gets you -12.25. And the denominator gets you 138.24. I go 1 step further, and this turns out to be -0.08, and that just keeps going. So here it is. This is the step I would really like to see. Angle B is cosine inverse of this, -0.08, and that just keeps going. Have a few more decimals than that. It's 88. Okay? And your angle is 95.08 degrees. So for the correct final answer and the work that goes in between, you'll get a mark for that. It is okay not to do this separately, but I would caution, like if you do this all in one shot, you're probably going to get the wrong answer. The only way you can get around it is if you were to actually put a bracket here and a bracket there, like you bracket that whole thing as you divide. Strongly advise against it. Just do the top, do the denominator, divide them, you get a negative, and there it is. So 3 marks for A. Okay. Next, this one, side A. We wanted this side right here. And at first glance, you don't have a pair. It's not side, 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 and it's not side angle side, right? It's not cosine law. This is sine law. So the first step is to find angle B because you've got these two. So 180 minus 98.6 minus 51.8. You get 29.6 degrees. You get a mark for this. I'll get you a full mark for that. So that's 29.6 degrees. Now you have your pair. It's hard to see, but you have this side length, which is 86.9, and the angle across from it. That's sine law. So sine of 29.6 over 86.9. And I'm going to use this angle, which was very hard to see there, but it's 98.6. If you got this wrong, like if you read this as 91 or something other than 98, you won't lose marks today. For this one, you won't lose any marks. I just look at the setup. So 1 mark for setup and saying this is sine law. A is going to be cross multiplying and dividing, right? So 86.9 times sine of 98.6 divided by sine of 29.6. I'll do it underneath. So I'll give you a mark for the work here, and then one final mark for the answer. The answer is 173 0.95 meters. So you get 1 for the answer, 1 for the work, 1 for the setup, and 1 for finding that initial missing angle. So 4 marks for this question. And the last one on this page, this is side, angle, side, right? Side, angle, side. Right, you've got one of those happening there. Got it? So this is, I want to know find side C, then angle A. So side C is right there. So it's cosine law. C squared is equal to, you grab these numbers here, 45, 13.7, you square that. 57, 28.6, you square that. Minus 2 times 45, 13.7. Let's see if I can make this work. Cosine of 73.6 degrees. So if you have this written out, you get a mark already. Correct substitution and cosine law. It's going to be a big number because you have big numbers here. So you have a calculator. Your calculator can handle it. You get 38,589. 236.88. That's what you get out of this expression up here. When you take the square root, you get 6212.02, and we're in meters. So 1 mark for setup, 1 mark for work, 1 mark for correct final answer. Okay? 1, 1, 1, 1. So 3 marks so far. And now that we have this 6212.02, you can choose. It's side, side, side now, so you could use cosine law, or you can use sine law, right? Pair this up, and then figure out angle A using this pair right here. I used what? I used sine law on my key, so I'm going to stick with sine law. Sine of 73.6 over 6212.02. And then I'm going to go sine of A. I don't know what A is, but I know that the side is across from it. Okay. You get a mark for that setup. Sine of A is, right, you cross multiply and you divide. So we go 4513.7 times sine of 73.6. All of that divided by 6212.02. I would type that into my calculator, go this times this, and because there's only one thing in the denominator, just go ahead and divide right away if you feel like it. That is 0.6970, that keeps going. For this step where you cross multiply and divide and you get the 0 point something, I will give you a mark. And then the last step is angle A is sine inverse of this. And so angle A is 44.19. And check. The longest side is across the largest angle. And this angle right here, it makes sense that it is smaller than 73, right? Because we've got it's actually the shortest side, so we expect this to be the smallest angle. So a mark for figuring out the final answer with the inverse in there. If the inverse is missing, take off half. So this page, if you followed along, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 marks, and another 4, that's 10, and another 3 marks, that's 13 for this page. So somewhere at the bottom of this page, go out of 13. All right. I'll leave the bonus for now. I'll do this first. This is a good review. also, sometimes the diagram has some information in it, and then there's some written part that you're supposed to connect. So angle BCA, that's what there is saying is 105. This angle right here can be referred to as BCA, right? It's when you connect those 3 points continuously, you'll figure out, oh, BCA is right there. That's the angle we're talking about. And we're told that B to C is 580, right? It's right there. And A to C is 337 meters. So you have to fill in a bit of information. There's the pond. So they want to know A to B. This is your unknown here. Question mark. Side angle side, right? And you go x squared is equal to 580 squared plus 337 squared minus 2 times 580 337, and then cosine of 105. Okay. Next step is you plug this all into your calculator. You get a big number. That number is 551,146,5411. You get a mark for initial setup, you get a mark for work in between, and you get a mark for the correct final answer. So we're going to make this page worth 3 only. Okay, it's only worth 3, and then whatever bonus you get, you add it to the 3. Right? You could potentially get 5 out of 3 on this back side. We made it. I just made it a bonus of 2 max. Yeah, because it's bonus. Okay, so this is a 2 triangle situation. Whenever we're going to do that today as well. Okay, whenever you have 2 triangles, try to figure out the side that they share. That is kind of like your golden. That's the golden key, right, to access your final answer. So ignore that, and on this side you've got your pair. You've got that angle across this side. That's sine law. Okay, so sine of 45 over 10. And then it's, if I go with sine of 60, I would find this side, which I'm not really interested in. So I'll find this angle here, which is 75. I've got 2 already, right? So sine of 75 over A. And technically some work is required there, but A is 13.66 units. We don't know, I guess it's meters, right? Whatever you wrote down, that's fine in this case. So if you have that, I give you 1 bonus mark already if you figured out A. If you figured out this other side out here, I wouldn't give you anything because we want the one they share, right? So this is 13.66. And then next, once you're in this triangle, you've got side, angle, side, and that's how you're going to solve for x. So x squared is equal to 15 squared plus 13.66 squared minus 2 times 15 times 13.66 times cosine of 70. You take the root of this, and the root, whatever goes in the root is 271.4357, and that keeps going. And then you get 16.48 units or meters, whatever you, that gives you another +1. So nothing in between, it's either you got it or you don't. So, a mark out of 3. So if you got the bonus and this all right, you get 5 out of 3. And then the front is worth 13 altogether. So technically this is out of 16. Cross out the 23, make it out of 16, and you could have 18 out of 16 if you got everything right. Yeah.